So what is World Nation Organization? Before I explain you what is World Nation Organization, so let me introduce you how, or explain you where it come from, or how the idea originated. So the World Nation Organization is an idea of governance of the world state and nation society, or world state and nation national society that I propose, which is under by controlism society. So controlism society is explained on my previous or my other videos that it proposed to be the nature of society, and then based on the controlism doctrine, it's proposed to be the nature of society, and then proposed to be the society, since it is the nature of the society. When we talk about the humanity, the human beings, so the human beings is all over in the world. So that's why the idea of becoming it a world state and nation society. And then after it became the world state and nation society, so we are in this world, or the world of human beings. The world of humans is having now a world society, which is controlism. A society or a humans in the world that has this nature of controlling in each other by what they are, by their belief, by their power, based on the principle of the controlism society. So the controlism society now has become the nature, and then in the world, and then to the humans, and then it is now carrying the world state and nation society, the world society, and then it is now became the world society. That's why the idea of having a governance of it. That's why I was thinking how the world state and nation national society, or the world society, be governed. In this world, we already have the government in every nations in the world. We have United Nations, we have big nations, organization, union, we have groups. They are all really helpful in controlling, maintaining peace and order in others, in the human. But I think that if I'm going to develop it or it more to govern the world society, maybe. So the idea of World Nation Organization to govern the world state and nation society is created, begin. So World Nation Organization is an organization of it, or in the world, to govern the world state and nation society. So it is organization of all nations in the world. So as I study the of the idea of World Nation Organization, I just have to cooperate and understand the system or the organizational of the government today, or the present. So since this world state and nation society, controlism society, proposed to be a worldal society or world society, so it means it will merge and contribute to the system governance of the world, since we don't have yet a world society. So the controllism society created to be the world society, to be merged in the system as a world society, and then his governance is the world nation organization will also merge in the system. So I am studying, I am thinking how it will merge in the system. It cannot affect, I cannot destroy or disturb or conflict in the governance of the systems in the world today. So the idea of world nation organization is begin by following the same structure of what the government of each nations in the world. So as I study the government structure of each nation in the world is just mostly they are following the same one mostly structure. The structure of this having of the constitution, the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary. In the Philippines, that's what is the government system structure is. We have the constitution in our nation. We have the legislative branch, the House of Representatives and the House of the Senate. We have the executive and we have the judiciary. In the United States of America, is this the same? And the other nations. So how this world nation organization merge in the systems without having any conflict and can govern the world state and nation society under an incorporation merge of our systems in the world. So I just have to think that if this is the world, so I just follow the same structure of this of the government. So I just thinking, since this is the world society and we're talking about the world, the planet Earth, is I have to create the same governance structures in the world. So that's why the structure of the world nation organization, we have the constitution in the world. Actually, the World Nation Organization is an organization, but later it proposed to be the Earth Government Organization. So that's why I'm following the same structures in the world based on each system and each nation. So I just think or create the idea of the same, that in governing the world's society, so in the world, when merge in the government system, every nations in the world. So I have to have this same system structure, government structure. So I created developed the idea of constitution in the world, legislative branch of government in the world or in the planet Earth, the executive branch in the planet Earth or in the world, and the judiciary branch. I just have to add the military. So since as far as I know, I didn't have known of this sorry, I didn't know, or these structures did not exist as for now. So I just have to follow it, and then I'm thinking that how it will organize the government. So is I'm going to create the higher parliament or the House of World Senate, something like that, based on the Philippine or the nation's system, and the lower council. In the executive, we have departments in the nation, so we have nation organization. But since this is created based on nation organization. We I create the idea of organization and then the judiciary. So that what is the origination of the structure of the um, world nation organization, or it uh, it also known to be the earth government structure in the world, cooperated by all nation in the world. So in the structures, we have the constitution. In the constitution, since this is now governing the whole world, planet Earth, the World Nation Organization, in the constitution proposed by the World Nation Organizations covered the um, the planet Earth governance. So in the United Nations, it is a big organization also in the world, but they have the different um, structures of their governance. So um, I have no problems with it. So let's go back to the World Nation. So World Nation Organization Constitution. So the Constitution is the Earth Government Constitution. That what is the World Nation Organization Constitution is. So it is a constitution of the planet Earth government. So in the constitution, it's stated in the declaration of policy, that is the Earth government constitution. So it means since we are now governing the world society, so we have the Earth government constitution. So that's why the idea of it. So I'm just thinking that it is the constitution of the world. So when I actually, the constitution was been followed after the idea of creation of the World Nation Organization. So I created the constitution. So in the constitution, since this is the world society, we are governing the world, so that's why the constitution in the territory declaration of the constitution proposed, it is the territory of the governance of the planet Earth, including the moon. Since the moon in our solar system is considered to be the moon of the planet Earth, so it means that it is still part and under by the planet Earth. So each planet has their own moon. That depends on the, I'm not good at science, but I just have to that's what I understand. So the territory of the governance of the World Nation Organization, or the Earth government under the proposed constitution, is the planet Earth. Comprises the planet Earth, the moon comprises of 7 continents, and the oceans, the whole planet Earth. So that is the territory governance of the World Nation Organization. So that is for the territories. So for the since the World Nation Organization proposed to be the World Government Organization, so and merge to the systems and governance of in the world. So I have to propose, put, and declared mostly the what we called it the belief that can unite us all. We have one world nation organization, one world monarch. So it all put in the declaration. So people are fighting when it comes to government, to monarchy. So that is the conflict. So this world nation organization is the solution of that. Having a one world society first, the controllism society, so we can have an understanding, peace of having a world nation or nation society, state society. So that's why in the declaration of policies of world nation organization, we are using the world state and nation society, the controllism society, to be the society in the world. So since also we are also uniting into one world monarchy under and in respect and in control to the existing monarchy, so we are declaring also a one world monarchy. Since Gutierrez Empire proposed to be the world state and national empire in the world, every nation, so I declare also the Gutierrez Empire to be the solution, the peace solution of the monarch in the world. Mostly the monarch are having this conflict in each other. So that was in the constitution is. So I am declaring it also is a world republic democratic government. So the world nation is a government to the people and the rights of all the people and government in each nation in the world. So that's what is the world nation organization is. So in the executive, let's go for legislative first. Let's go for the legislative. The first branch of the world nation organization. So as legislative is the legislator of the world, branch of the world. So we have the upper parliament, the upper council of the world nation organization, or the earth government. So the upper council is the same functions of the upper parliament of each nation. Just imagine, the nation is the world. So what is the functions of the upper parliament in every nations to be the upper legislator of the government of each nation? It's just the same of the upper parliament of the world nation organization or earth government. Is the legislator, the upper legislator of the government of the world. So the parliament is we are going to discuss it, since this is just the fundamental, the constitution is the fundamental law of the world already, the government of the world. So I just have to create the fundamental law or the constitution of the world, and then after we're going to add under by it. So that's what that's what the government of each nation is doing to their constitution. They create many laws from it. So we create law from upper parliament, and then create law, and then the properly organized. So in the legislative, we have upper parliament and we have lower parliament. The upper parliament was selected by the people and the lower parliament or the lower council. So the lower council was represented by each every nations in the world, or countries in the world, just like provinces in the Philippines. So that's what the idea of legislative. That's how I think the legislative or world nation organization or earth government will merge the system of government that existed, the present system of the government. So the member of this upper and lower council is represented by each and every nations in the world. So each nation has their representative in this council. So the executive branch, so in the executive branch, I just have to follow, but to be the governance of the executive branch in each every nations in the world. Since they are the same structure, we are following the same structure. So the executive is the governance of the executive and the ministry in each every nations in the world. So we have mostly main departments and ministry of each nations in the world. In the USA, they are using department. In the Philippines, they are using department. In the other countries, they are using ministry, but it's just the same. The Ministry of Education, Department of Education. So the executive branch of World Nation Organization is the governance of this. That's why it will propose under by the Constitution. So mostly the governance of all, like for example here, the World Nation Energy. So the World Nation Energy members will be to all nations national energy agencies. Like in the Philippines, the Department of Energy. Like in the USA, the Department of Energy. The Ministry of Energy. They have, even though they have the other names as energy, but they are same as the government related to energy service. And so for we have governance, we have World Nation Energy, governance of each executive department or ministry energy in every nations in the world. We have World Nation or in education. It will be the governance of all executive department and ministry educations in each every nations in the world. We have World Nation Health. Is this the same? So mostly all the members of this are the executive branch or the ministry and the department agency of each nations in the world. So here we have now a one world government, one world executive government. So that is what will happen now. So the Constitution is the fundamental law of the Earth government, or the Earth, or the planet Earth. So that's why we are now having this united one world government. So in the third branch is the judiciary. So in the judiciary, it's just the same. It is judiciary head of all the judiciary of each nations in the world. So the member of this is the judiciary, like the department of the Supreme Court of the Philippines, the Supreme Court of the USA, the Ministry of Justice, the head court of the world. So that is the judiciary. So in the military is the fourth branch. So I included the military to be the other branch of the world government, because has this different. So but under respect incorporated by the World Nation Defense. So the World Nation Defense just is one of the executive branch, executive organization of World Nation Organization, to be the governance of all the national defense agency in each nations or countries in the world. So just like I said, the world military is an organization, is the main organization, which is governance of the armed forces of the planet Earth, the armed forces of the Earth, or the armed forces of the world. So the armed forces of the planet Earth, or the armed forces of the Earth, is the member of this, is the of the armed forces of each nations in the world also. So the armed forces was divided into three organizations. The World Army Organization, it is the governance or the head armed forces of each army forces agencies in each nation, countries in the world. And also for the World Air Force Organization, it's just the same, it's the governance of all Air Force organization or agency in each nations or countries in the world. And for the Navy, the World Navy Organization. So here, the military was governed properly and controlled by the World Nation Organization. So that's what would happen of the structure in the Constitution. So that what is the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary and military, the four branches of the earth government. So in the Constitution, I created the suffrage law. Since this is the rights of all, the government of all, and the rights of all the nations, government in the world. So I created the suffrage law for having a voting system. So the suffrage law or the voting system created as part of the World Nation Organization Constitution. Just like I said, this is the rights of all. So it is the rights of all to choose who to be the world. Since this, we are now declaring a world republic democratic government under by the form of government used by World Nation Organization, or also known as the Earth Government. The suffrage is we have deemed it or the one who approved this or proposal, they have to carefully study it, because we are now choosing a role leaders here in the role. So we have president. We just same. We are following the positioning of the government in each nations in the world. So we have president. We have ruled senators or councils, parliament. So that's what will happen. So in the suffrage, I just created the basic or the fundamental um, law in the constitution. So upon his establishment, if it is given a chance to be approved, then we have to create another law out from it, or based from it, under by it. So maybe the law will be created is the rules and regulation of suffrage, the voting systems of our of our um, world. So maybe the the rules and regulations of the president, since it is to be studied carefully here, so that all the people has the rights to rule in the world government. So in the suffrage, you have to create declared rules and regulations also, which these rules or this law that will be under in the constitution will be named as the World Republic Act, or what is the form of government that will approve and accept it all. Since I just proposed the constitution, and this constitution will still be finalized, revised, and be approved to all nations in the world. So that is the suffrage is. So there are many I just think that there are many questioning of how the president, they don't want the president to rule because it is considers the rule. So in other organizations like United Nations, they are you have this round robin thing, rule. And that's what we that they can be a president, but in the World Nation Organization, we have a voting system. So you have to study it carefully if we're going to have a suffrage. So maybe one I can suggest about the issue of the suffrage is the president may be elected, but he cannot be re-elected again. Maybe 1 or 2 terms. And the form or administration who sponsored him or his administration cannot be recommend a new president for a period of time. If just what I am suggested under the rules and regulation of the constitution, suffrage in the constitution. So there is a possibility or chance that the other administration, the other nation can recommend to run their people as a president of the world. So that is what the rules and regulation of the suffrage. It is still be studied and finalized by the higher authority. So that is the suffrage. So we have our world local um, governance. So it's all covered there. The governance of all under by the local interior government of the of the of each nations in the world. So after I created the constitution, so I'm following these projects. So having this world corporation, um, world government on controlled corporation or world nation on controlled corporation, and world nation commission association organization, that it will unite all the organization, association, corporation in each nations in the world. So we in here we have we are all centered to the World Nation Organization, all Earth Government Organizations, and is the rights of all. So other is I have also proposed the creation of having a world capital. The world capital is a big area or some kinds of mostly area that will the capital of the world. So that was why, because if I am putting this to one nation, it will be conflict and cause of jealousy and misunderstanding or undoing to other nations or favoritism, something like that. So it is important, I think, on my own, to have a capital that will accept and approved by all nations as the center governance place of the earth government in the world. So that will be discussed by the world nations or the nation's president or the world leaders. So that is the explanation of the constitution. So under in the title 12, section 7, section 7, I think 12, it is the amendments and the revisions of the constitution. So it's just a basic and fundamental. If you have a revision or amendments, it will be revised. So that was the constitution is. So here in this the advantage of this having the world nation organization or the earth government is we can have peace, understanding. We have a one world understanding in any aspect of life and livings. We have one world society. We have one world monarch, one world government, and soon to be others to be added. So that is the good of having a world nation organization approving this constitution. It is the rights of all. So the future project of this is we are also declaring the future one world currency. So each nation has their own currency. If this world nation organization will be approved, we are proposing to having a one world currency, or what we call it, the universal currency. So it can be used in any nations in the world. So each nation, for now, we have our own currency in each nations in the world. So this currency, universal currency declaration, so it will be the second currency used by the people. So they will accept two currency, and this currency will be accepted in the public soon. If you are go to other country, you just bring this currency. It's just the same of dollar of other. They are also been used in other countries. But the difference of this universal currency is we can directly use the dollar. We have to change it to the bank or any money changers to be changed under the money of the nations. Like in the Philippines, you have to change it into peso. But this universal currency, if this given a chance to be approved, it will not be changed. It will be directly pay and used as a payment under by the power of the World Nation Bank, or the World Central Bank, or the Central Bank of the world, or the Central Bank of the earth. So that what is this currency. If this will be useful, then maybe this is the chance that it will be having a one currency. But we don't want, we don't think of that yet for now. So so that is and soon to be added. There are more in organizing the world. And then it proposed to every nations in the world. So after I created the constitution, it proposed all to most of the nation or countries in the world to the office of the president. So that what is the World Nation Organization's constitutions is, or proposal. So the World Nation Organization, as I been thinking earlier, that to be the earth, the governance of the world society under by the nation's belief of the mutualism society is it can be renamed his name. I propose to be the under names of the World Nation Organization to carry the constitutions of the world, or the constitution of the earth will be name, rename, or other name, or proposes the other name of earth. It is the earth government, the earth federation, the republic of the earth, the title of the government constitution. The title of the constitution will be the Earth Constitution, the Earth Federation Constitution, the Republic of Earth Constitution, Federal Republic of the Earth. All that is all known to be the Earth government constitutions in the world, the planet Earth. So that is. So this is just only a basic explanation only. So I am going to explain you the detail of the World Nation Organization Constitution and their services. So I hope this video will help you understand about the World Nation Organization proposal. Thank you very much.